November 15, 2018 Cumberland County Commissioners Workshop Meeting. Please stand and join me in the pledge of allegiance by saying, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I call this meeting to order at 9 a.m. and at this time open up the floor to public comment. Hearing and seeing none, we'll move on to agenda items 3 and 4. Begin by calling on Dana Best to discuss Budget Resolution 2018-26, followed by agenda item number 4, Budget Resolution 2018-27, regarding year 2019 budget adjustments. Dana?
Stop Grant is requesting to increase expenses and their subsidy by $10,000. The grantor is requiring us to pass an additional $10,000 to the agencies on the grant. That's $5,000 to both the YWCA and domestic violence. That does impact the general fund by $10,000. The nursing home is increasing expenses and decreasing fund balance by $1 million. Additional expenses are expected in therapy, professional services, and various other areas. There's no impact to the general fund on that, and some of this is so that they can process in our system because you can't override if they go over a budget line. So they don't budget for as much in contingency, and so we need to add that so they can process. Cumberland County Health Choices is increasing revenues and expenses by $9,287,895 due to an increase in the capitation rates. The original budget estimate was based on March of 2018, and Perry Health Choices is increasing their revenues and expenses by $1,704,803. Any questions?
Dana, on the first item under 2018 stop grant, is this, I'm not sure I follow.
Well, I'm going to have to look into that because Tammy wrote these for me, and I'm just sitting here reading it. So I do need to look into that, and I'll follow up with an email.
Is the increase request, is that something we have to match?
I believe it is, but what I'm not sure is if they're redirecting our grant. My guess is, but I have to follow up, is sometimes this grant requires a pass-through to the different agencies. So I think they're increasing our pass-through amount, which then means we would have to increase $10,000 to cover the other expenses. That's what I'm assuming happened, but I do have to follow up.
Okay.
Thank you, Dana.
You're welcome.
Next, I'll call on Solicitor Brennan to discuss the advertising ordinance 2018-6 regarding establishing 2019 taxes in Cumberland County.
Commissioners, you do this every year. You authorize the advertisement of your annual tax ordinance, and that is typically adopted immediately after you adopt the budget for next year.
Any questions? Thank you. Moving on to agenda item 6, Rebecca Urick is here to discuss the CDBG Smoke and Pickles Artisan Butcher Shop loan request. Rebecca?
Good morning, everyone. Weeks ago, we talked a little bit about how food and drink remains the business hot button in Cumberland County, and that retail is a challenge everywhere, well beyond the county. I could count on my 2 hands with fingers left over the active, new, solid business retail interests that I'm working with right now. Smoke and Pickles Artisan Butcher Shop, however, combines both retail and restaurant. This is David Mills, Chef David Mills, who will be opening the business. It's a European-style butcher shop, charcuterie, deli. We're going to learn to make bacon, too. We're going to have classes there. A cafe with breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and Sunday brunch, which will be the only Sunday brunch in the Canonsburg. That's good news. And in the future, a nano brewery at his site. David is a chef instructor at Harrisburg Area Community College who will leave that grind to start the new business, be the owner and operator of Smoke and Pickles. He's also chairman of the LEAF Project, which is a nonprofit organization in the region that connects youth with agriculture, food services, and the food industries. So in addition to his hack interns and connections there, keeping a relationship there, they're all required to, his students are all required to do internships. He'll also have his own farm team, in effect, to work with some of these students who are coming through the LEAF project, whether they're butchering, baking, or sausage link making. They'll be working at some of the tables. To open in early 2019, Mills will lease 30 South Market Street, which was last used as a restaurant. It's very helpful for a new restaurant coming in, a butcher shop coming in, because it's ready. He'll not only renovate the inside, but we are going to tackle the outside, because I want to be diplomatic here, but it's not the jewel of the community, let's just say. Together we tackle the building and make this part of the butcher's block a shining example of how we turn things around utilizing the local About Face grant and Cumberland County's Cumberland Street View grant, which you approved several years ago. We know that a more attractive Mechanicsburg is more attractive to everyone. That's businesses, residents, visitors, guests, shoppers, and no other downtown has a butcher shop here. It's a unique use, but Mills has really done his homework. I am continually impressed with him. He's cool, very cool guy, focused, friendly, forward-thinking. He knows all the people in the restaurant and food service industries. I took him as my guest to the Downtown Mechanicsburg Partnership's annual dinner last week, and we went table to table, and I said, "This is the butcher," and he named his name, "This is the butcher," and everyone went, "Ah!" They've all heard about him. They're all really excited to have him in town. And in Mechanicsburg, we eat meat. This $40,000 CDBG shop setting loan request is to provide for equipment, fixtures, and furnishings, and some amount of working capital for the business. Members First Federal Credit Union is providing $61,000 to the project, and our request to Mechanicsburg Borough, they will hear that Monday, vote on it Tuesday, but we've interviewed all of them. David has interviewed with all of them, and they are all very excited too. $30,000 from the borough. Mills will invest $40,000 of his own for the project that's coming. The loan will be secured by the Mills home at 59 Franklin Drive, liens on all fixtures, furnishings, and equipment, and personal guarantees from David and his wife Kelly. She is the vice president and SIA Life. Cumberland County will be in the 4th position. We typically, ours, we stack things at the bottom. Mechanicsburg Borough will be in the 3rd position behind Members First, which has the mortgage on their home, and we'll have the note on the loan that they'll be providing for the business. This monthly payment will be $170, and that's a correction to the briefing you received earlier. As a condition of the loan, Mills will be required to hire 2 full-time or part-time equivalent positions at this location within the next 2 years. But a year from now, he expects to have 8 people working there. So that's good news for Mechanicsburg as well. Approval of this shop-setting loan will assist in opening a new and highly anticipated business, a very different kind of business, something really different to add to the business mix. That's one of our goals, we know that. Something to bring those 600 new homeowners who are building less than a mile away, just off of Market Street, into the downtown. They'll have the more typical custom cuts, and they'll be comparably priced, but custom cuts and special orders too that you can't find anywhere else. You'll have to come to downtown Mechanicsburg to get that. We're delighted that David Mills has decided to make downtown Mechanicsburg his business address, and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Have any, I think it's great. Sounds good, wonderful. So, I guess we'll, when in 2019 do you expect to open?
I just turned everything in to the borough for the renovations. So depending on how quick I get that back, I would love to be open by the end of January. And I'm going to be starting off hiring 12 part-time employees.
I'll say as a president of the borough, this is very good news. Best of luck to you. My wife and I'll do our part to okay?
Well, that's why I asked when you plan to open, because I don't stop around. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Good luck.
Agenda item number 7, we have discussion and approval of letter of support for 3P Drive Veterans Trust Fund grant. Commissioners, on November 12th, we received a request from Rich Barr from Rapid Transit asking for a letter of support for the 3 Key Ride Veterans Trust Fund grant. Just a little bit of background on that. It was a pilot that was started in York County more than a year ago and has demonstrated significant need for regular, dependable transportation between homes, communities, and assigned regional clinics. The pilot was initially supported with county and local foundation dollars. However, it is critical and additional funding streams are identified to continue the service and expand to additional counties. 3P Ride is partnering with local veterans organizations, municipalities, and county governments to expand the transportation options for local veterans to access care at designated VA clinics. So if you're inclined to approve this letter of support, action is requested today because the grant is due tomorrow. So do you have any questions on that letter of support?
I have none, I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioner. Next we'll move on to agenda item 8, and I will call on Ryan Simon to discuss the following Memorial donations that have been made to the Cumberland Perry Drug and Alcohol Commission. Ryan?
Good morning, Commissioners. Several donations have been made in memory of an individual who recently passed away. The individual's family had asked that donations be made to the Cumberland Perry Drug and Alcohol Commission. We received 3 checks of $50 and then 1 check of $175. And the individuals who made the donations are listed on the agenda. Any questions?
Thank you, Ryan.
Is there any specific use for these donations? Right.
We intend to use them if someone needs help getting into treatment. But there was no, in the donations, there was no
No
specific.
request for a specific use.
Right, right.
So we're going to have to accept the donations on Monday, I guess, right?
Yes.
And can we get the addresses, because I think we got to send a letter of thank you to these folks as well.
You can send them to
Yeah.
me. So.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Next we move on to agenda item 9, which is contracts and grants. Agenda item 9, Roman numeral 1, A through D are existing contracts. Contracts are sent to addenda with no additional cost or increase to the county. They include the following departments. There are 2 agreements for children and youth, 1 agreement for court administration, 1 agreement for facilities, and 1 agreement for public safety. Commissioner, do you have any questions, comments, or concerns regarding any of the above mentioned agreements? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to agenda item 9, Roman numeral 2, which consists of new contracts, vendor services, grants, and contracts with increases and decreases to the county. And we'll begin by calling on Melissa Smith, who is joining us via video teleconferencing to discuss Department of Human Services Office of Long-Term Living Agreement. Melissa?
Good morning. I'm here asking for signatures on the contract for the intergovernmental transfer agreement with the Department of Human Resources and Office of Long-Term Living. There are the net will be that we received we'll receive $7 million. We have to pay the $4,538,972. So the net that we retain will be $2.4 million. There's 2 signatures that are required on this. One on page 5 of the contract, and then there's an Exhibit A that requires a signature as well. And the Exhibit A will need to be returned to me to be used when we actually make the payment. This is an overall increase from last year of over $800,000 for this facility.
Are there any questions for Melissa?
Melissa, can you, in the paperwork we have, it said that the original contract was $4.9 million, and the new contract was $4.5 million. Do you know
Yes.
what that's about, or?
Why it decreased, I'm not sure. And why we're getting more money, I'm not sure. I'm guessing just more federal funds. I wasn't able to sit in on the phone call that they had October 25th.
Jane, were you on that, or?
Is that the
I can look
RGT? I'm
into
sorry,
that.
IGT annual payment,
I
yeah.
was sending Susan a text to follow up.
I'm sorry, what?
I'm sorry, I was sending Susan a text to follow up. But yeah, the IGT, the amount of the overall IGT is going up, but we as a county are gonna have to provide less money. The state had some money, additional monies that the state is going to decrease the amount that they're going to keep. The counties are gonna get additional funding. Does that make sense?
Yeah, the 4.5 that we're paying is offset by the 7 million we're receiving, and that's out to 2.4 million.
Yes.
Which is 800,000.
Correct.
That's not really clearly indicated here. It
Yeah.
might be help if it would have been.
Okay, all right, well, thanks, I think I understand.
Thank you, Melissa. Is Brad there with you?
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Down here.
Okay. Brad, you want to discuss the agreement? Go ahead.
Yeah, we're asking approval to move ahead with Cumberland Hall to do the work for the FSES project. This is the work that we did contract with QDOT earlier this year, that they were unable to provide the necessary prints, plans, and submittals to plan and review life safety. So the price of the contract is $25,440. QDOT's was 14 something, so it's definitely more, but there's a lot more involved. They will actually take the plans over to plan and review and meet with them also. Again, this is for the FSES, we have to do this, so, any questions?
Any questions?
You feel confident this new firm can do the work?
Yeah, when I met with them, they actually brought plans with them, for some similar projects. And they showed them to me, and it's exactly what plan review is going to need. They're very well on top of what plan review needs. They meet with them on a lot of projects. Cumberland Hall, a big part of their business is for nursing homes. So they're very familiar with dealing with Department of Health and Life Safety and that. So, but QDOT did not have that knowledge and experience. So I do feel a lot more confident using this outfit. They're very familiar with our building because this is the same firm that did the transition rehab project. So they're already on board with how our building is made.
Okay,
Any additional questions?
well, thanks.
Thank you, Brad.
Thank you.
Okay, next I'd like to call on Jamie to discuss 3 agreements for children and youth training.
Morning, Commissioners. The first agreement I have is with Kids Peace. This is for their 18-19 contract with us. They had minimal increases of 2% across the board for their programs, still well below the state maximum and comparable to other programs. Mid-Atlantic Youth Services is actually a new provider that we're going to be using. Probation had requested that we contract with them. They provide secure treatment and intensive open residential programs. We don't have a whole lot of those programs at this point, so this will be additional resources for them. They are all well below the state maximum approved amounts and are comparable to all of the other secure programs that we have. And the last one is for Presley Ridge. They offer in-home services and placement services for us. They did have some significant increases in their foster care placements. However, at this point, we've only used them for 2 children and have plenty of other foster care providers to use, to not have to use the increased amounts. Their in-home services did go up slightly. Their CRR home went up 18%, which that is a program that we've actually never used, and most likely will not. And a 3% and a 5% for foster care, but like I said, we don't typically use them a whole lot for their foster care program.
Are there any questions for Jamie?
Jamie, do you know where Emlenton is?
I do not have any idea.
Emlenton.
Yeah, it was a new name to me too.
All right.
It's in Pennsylvania somewhere.
Someone has been, I guess it is snow.
Thank you, Jane. Next, I'd like to call on Holly to discuss the two agreements for human resources. Holly?
Good morning. The first agreement is with Daring Consulting Group Incorporated to conduct a countywide training and talent needs assessment. It's a 36-week project, and to begin as soon as the contract is signed and completed by the fall of 2019. Done in 4 phases as outlined in the contract. The total amount of the contract is $31,475.
31.
Yes.
I've noticed on the form that we have, and also in another one, there's no amount listed. Yeah, how you can approve something that has no amount on it.
You mean on this form? Okay. We can certainly get you. Yeah, we can get you an updated one before Monday. Okay.
Any other questions for Holly?
And then for Avalon, this is our stop loss insurance. Now that we are self-insured for our medical insurance, we have stop loss insurance. This is a decrease from the current premium of $118,544 for the 2019 stop loss. We did decide to increase the deductible on that from $200,000 to about $250,000.
Any additional questions, Commissioner? Thank you, Holly. Next, Claudia will be joining us for the teleconferencing to discuss the capital project request for CAD. Claudia?
Good morning, everybody. The Department of Public Safety is asking for the Commissioner's approval to proceed with a capital project request to upgrade our computer-aided dispatch system, known as CAD, in the Communications Center with a not-to-exceed price of $3.5 million.
Thank you, Claudia. Are there any other questions, Commissioners? Thank you very much.
Thanks. Have a good day.
You too. For agenda item 11, I'll call Commissioner Eichelberger to discuss the appointment recommendations for the Cumberland County Planning Commission.
Right, we have, as I think you're well aware, we have a current vacancy. At the end of the year, there'll be 2 seats vacated because of term limits on the board. We received a pretty nice range of applicants, and very good applicants this year. We've provided the resumes of those who come recommended from the selection committee of the Planning Commission. Had time to look these over, so I think we've got very good candidates. I have no problems with any of them personally. If there's any questions at this point, I can certainly entertain those or take them back to folks in planning. Otherwise, we'll be looking for action this Monday.
I think it's a good mix of backgrounds on these 3 people, as it should be. So, good with it.
I think Mr. Franco had thrown his hat in the ring for the Agricultural Land Preservation Board, so I'm glad to see that he's interested in volunteering, I guess. So that's good.
He's been involved in a number of other capacities.
The other thing I wanted to add there is you said some folks face their term limits. Who was outgoing?
Bart Wilson, South Middleton, who was the former manager, Chris Millar, that's it. And then the red vacancy from the passing of Robin Lake.
Yeah, I think it would be appropriate for us to send a letter of appreciation to those outgoing members.
Very good members.
Thank you, Commissioner Eichelberger. Next, move on to agenda item 12. I'm calling Jack Carroll to discuss the appointment recommendations to the Drug and Alcohol Commission Community Advisory Board. Jack?
Good morning, Commissioners. We have currently 1 Cumberland County vacancy on our Community Advisory Board. As a reminder, that's a group of 15 volunteers, 8 from Cumberland County, 7 from Perry County. We have a candidate to recommend, Mr. Ted Ford from Mechanicsburg. Ted is somebody we've known for quite a while. We first got to know Ted when he was pupil personnel director at Mechanicsburg School District, and we implemented student assistance programming there. He was very supportive of that. He's now retired from the school district, also a retired adjunct prof for education at Penn State Harrisburg. Our guidelines for board members require that there be a break in service after they've served so many years. And that break in service has occurred with Ted. See, he's been off the board for more than a year now. But he's expressed interest in rejoining. And now that we have this vacancy, we'd like to recommend that he be appointed to the board once again.
Any questions for Jack? Thank you, Jack.
Thank you very much.
Okay, agenda item 13, Commissioner DeFilippo will discuss the appointment recommendations to the Cumberland County Library System.
The library board would like to recommend Jay Sherwood McGinnis as a new board member. We received some background information on Mr. McGinnis just recently, and based on what I see, he is certainly qualified to become a member of the board, so I would ask for his recommendation.
Next, we'll move on to the Commissioner's liaison reports, and we give Commissioner DeFilippo.
Yes, I have one regarding the Local Emergency Planning Commission, LEPC, which was held November 8th. Some highlights, the Hazmat Response Fund grant amount for past year was $50,000 of purchases were made with this money, which included radio equipment training classes and additional safety suits. The grant for the upcoming year will be $47,000. The reduction is due to a change in the formula that PEMA uses, but that money will be used to purchase new thermal imaging camera and also more training and personal protective equipment. Some hazmat team activity. Year to date, there have been 36 incidents. To date, in 2018 incidents resulted in 234 man hours. And just in comparison, in 2017, at this time, there were 17 incidents. To date, the team has had over 1,000 total man hours for training, and the turnout for training has been very good. The commission is working on revision of bylaws. Comments have been received. The deadline for such comments will be November 20th, and the board will vote on those revised bylaws in the January 2019 meeting. It's reported that the Sarah Summit was a success. This is a comparison. The first year that this was done in 2017, the attendance was 86. At the recent summit over at the AAC Center, attendance was 135. Received a lot more sponsors this year. Planning has already started for 2019. For new business, the meeting times for LEPC, we've been going back and forth between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. every other Thursday. Not every other Thursday, excuse me. The second Thursday of the month. It looks like we're going to stick to 1 o'clock as the time for those meetings. Reappointments that are due for people who expired in 2018 would be Steve Spangler, the current chairman, Jim Stickney, Denny Powell, Megan Silverstrom, and myself. All of us are going to return if we're approved, but we've been recommended to take another term. And Sandy, that is it for me.
Thank you, Commissioner.
You're welcome.
Next, I'd like to call Commissioner Kurtzberg.
Okay, thanks, Sandy. Not an awful lot to report since my commissions and boards did not meet since the last meeting. I did join Kirk Stoner, our Director of Planning, at a meeting last Friday of the Carlisle Chamber of Commerce Transportation Committee. The Chamber is planning a luncheon meeting in January for an update on PennDOT's latest evaluation of capacity expansion scenarios related to Interstate 81, and I expect that all of us on the board will be invited to that informational session. Yesterday's scheduled meeting of the Agricultural Land Preservation Board was canceled for lack of quorum. I expect to attend today's meeting of the Housing and Redevelopment Authority boards, and tomorrow's meeting of the county's Aging Advisory Board, if they still have it, and plan to attend the fall conference of the County Commissioners Association of Pennsylvania that commences on Sunday afternoon. That's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner Franco. Commissioner Eichelberger.
Okay, briefly, the MHIDD board meeting was scheduled for today. That has been canceled in anticipation of bad weather, and I don't have any additional information on from them on any current happenings. I'm checking with staff regarding that. Planning Commission, I just came straight from there. That meeting is still ongoing. Pretty intense discussion regarding the Summerdale project. So I didn't get to experience the entire meeting and to have any true grasp of what may be discussed there beyond what's on the agenda. I did, however, bring the monthly summary dashboard, which I don't have copies of yet because I just came straight from there. So we could get some folks to read these for you, and you can get back to me with any questions you have on that as well. Of course, the approval of the board seats will be on Monday. We just discussed that. On the CADIC Executive Committee, continue to make, I guess, steady progress toward the selection of a new CEO there. Hoping to begin interviews in the next few weeks. Not sure if we're still tracking toward early January selection or not, but some progress being made there, which was more. But I'll keep you informed of anything new that I learn on that. Also, Recycling and Waste Authority, of course, Justin and Kirk were in yesterday and gave us a briefing on the proposal. The authority meeting is Monday, next Monday night, so I'm planning to be in attendance of that. Let's see here. Just as a note, Sandy, I'm not on the Community and Economic Development Committee for CCAP anymore. I'm on the County Governance Committee, and that'll be meeting on Sunday, as Commissioner Hertzer mentioned. The fall conference gets underway, and all the committee meetings will be held on Sunday, so I'm planning to be in attendance there. And that's largely going to be setting the goals for the committee. All the committees are doing that for the next session. So that's pretty important undertaking. Let's see. The only other thing I had, two things I was in attendance at that were worth mentioning was I did attend we were all invited to a rollout session for the Kennedy Addiction Center. It's going to be opening in Mechanicsburg to supplement the availability of treatment services in the county. And I did attend their open house. They have some pretty impressive staff, folks who've done this before and run successful centers in the state of Maryland. And I think that's going to be a very positive addition. There's a lot of energy and commitment on behalf of the Kennedy family personally in bringing that to the community. And I think that's going to be a very positive thing for the community. Everyone knows we certainly need more availability of services for that. Only other item was I did attend we have a seat on the Penn State Harrisburg Board of Advisors, basically a community advisory group, and I occasionally attend that. And they had something of a goal-setting session in terms of engagement between the university and the local community. That was the beginning of a conversation. We may hear more about that. Nothing earth-shaking came out of that, but it was certainly a good process to have different stakeholders at the table talking about that. So we'll see if anything more and worth reporting out comes forward on that. I just wanted to note that I was there and participated. So that's all I have.
Karen, do you want to comment on the CADIC event down at Waldo?
Well, that's right. I'm glad you mentioned that. Cumberland Economic Development Corporation continues its rollout of engagement to the business community in terms of the Workforce Development Initiative, and there's an event, when was that, Tuesday? Is that Tuesday?
No, it's Tuesday.
Tuesday evening, they had their internship and apprentice orientation at the Volvo corporate facility just across the county line in Franklin County. And Commissioner DeFilippo and I were able to attend that. Commissioner Bob Thomas from Franklin County was there as well, and also their County Development Director Mike Ross. And it was pretty well attended. A lot of employers very interested. We're going to continue to see a lot of interest in the idea of workforce development and the interest of the business community in participating in workforce development initiatives to ensure we have a solid, local, employable workforce that'll keep our business community viable. So, do you have anything you want to add to that?
That was pretty much it. The presentation also dealt with advanced manufacturing, just the labor gap in that field, of all that was doing. Also, representatives from HAC were there, and also the superintendent of Cumberland Valley School District, as they discussed their partnership that they have with each other, the county, and with the Arcata Group. So.
And Shippensburg University.
And Shippensburg University, yes, I forgot them. They have a representative there too. So this is really getting a lot of attention. It's all positive.
That's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner Eichelberger. I would like to report that executive sessions were held on the following dates in 2018. November 7th at 11:30 a.m., November 8th at 11:30 a.m., both regarding personnel issues. November 7th at 10 a.m. regarding potential litigation. I would also like to request an executive session be held directly after this meeting regarding personnel issues. Is there any other business to bring before the Board of Commissioners today?
Cindy, I do have one thing. This was submitted for the record and actually a few comments, but I'll actually give Michelle a clean copy of this. But this, Gary and I received a letter of response to our letter of October 8th to the Pennsylvania Public Utility Commission, whereby we requested that the PUC take whatever policy or regulatory action necessary to enhance the minimum federal public awareness safety rules to require PUC-regulated pipelines to hold periodic regional public outreach meetings to address any citizen questions and concerns. Of course, this all has to do with the Sunoco pipeline situation, our attempts to have Sunoco pipeline hold a public outreach meeting to address any concerns, especially that those citizens of Lower Franklin Township had. In any event, I'm not going to read the whole letter we got back from Deputy Chief Counsel Robert Young of the Public Utility Commission, but he thanked us for a letter to Chairman Brown and also the other members of the commission. He said that the pipeline operators' obligations, among other requirements, are to educate the public, appropriate government organizations, and persons engaged in excavation-related activities, and also on possible hazards associated with unintended releases of hazardous liquid or carbon dioxide pipeline steps that should be taken for public safety in the event of hazardous liquid or carbon dioxide pipeline release. In the letter, as you read through some of this, he's two main points. He said he strongly has suggested to Sunoco that they engage in discussions with our office to find a way to accommodate our request for Sunoco to participate in the county-hosted meeting. So we're still waiting to hear from Sunoco, and I know we had a preliminary discussion with our chief clerk, and I believe our director of planning, Kirk Stoner, may be trying to follow up contact on that. But also, and this is important, I think, the legal and technical staff of the commission are reviewing the commission's current regulations governing the transportation of hazardous liquids by pipeline public utilities. Staff intends to make recommendations for the commission's consideration at a forthcoming public meeting. We appreciate your request that the commission enhance the public awareness standards by including a requirement for periodic regional outreach meetings, and we will consider including it among our recommendations. So that's the gist of the response that we received from PUC. And I just want to make sure we include it in the public record because I think we discussed our original letter in the public record as well. So hopefully we can still make this happen. I think that it's a reasonable request. I also think that if we have a county hosted meeting, if there's any concern by Sunoco that the meeting could get out of hand, I have full confidence in our share of keeping the meeting in order. So hopefully they will accept our invitation finally.